Fight the real enemy.
And the lady cut it off, man. And cut it off while he was asleep. See? And he ain't even know it was gone. You know, he was asleep just chilling, rubbing, having one of them drinks.
Saturday Night Live, a comedy institution, a launching pad for legends, and, let's face it, a magnet for chaos. Over the years, this late-night juggernaut hasn't just made us laugh. It's left us speechless, furious, and sometimes straight-up cringing. From jaw-dropping performances like with the band Fear, they basically started a rager.
Somebody grabs a mic and says, "Fuck New York!" And Brandon Tarkatoff's watching the show, rest in peace, in bed with his wife, as he does every Saturday night, grabs the hotline and says, cut, tell him to cut, go to...
To headline-making controversies like Sinead OConnor, she tore the picture of the Pope on TV.
Evil. Fight the real enemy.
SNL has seen it all. Let's start with Pete Davidson.
First off, a lot of people thought Che should be the one to talk about Kanye, but we discussed it, because Che's black, but I'm crazy, and we both know which side of Kanye is at the wheel right now.
Pete Davidson sparked major drama on SNL when he cracked a joke about Republican politician Dan Crenshaw's eye patch during Weekend Update. Crenshaw, who lost his eye while serving in Afghanistan, didn't exactly appreciate the jab, and it led to a lot of backlash. People were upset that Davidson made light of Crenshaw's service and sacrifice. To make things right, Crenshaw came on the show the following week, and Davidson apologized on air, saying, "The man is a war hero and he deserves all the respect in the world." Crenshaw took the apology like a champ, and they even shared a laugh about the whole thing. But later on, in his 2020 Netflix special, Davidson shared his real feelings, saying he felt forced to apologize and didn't think he did anything wrong in the first place. He called out the pressure to apologize when he wasn't sure the joke was even that bad. Next, the band Fear.
Somebody grabs a mic and says, "Fuck New York!" And Brandon Tarkatoff's watching the show, rest in peace, in bed with his wife, as he does every Saturday night, grabs the hotline and says, cut, tell him to cut, go to...
Fear, the punk band known for pure chaos, totally lost it when they hit the SNL stage on Halloween. John Belushi, a huge fan of the band, pushed hard to get them on the show and even set up a row of hardcore fans right at the front to stir things up. And stir things up they did. As soon as Fear kicked off their set with songs like Beef Bologna and New York's All Right If You Like Saxophone, the crowd went wild. The front row was moshing like crazy. People were throwing themselves around, shouting random stuff and dropping F-bombs. It got so out of hand that SNL had to cut to commercials early. The set got totally wrecked in the chaos. Needless to say, the network was not having it, and Fear got banned from SNL for good. Next, we have Sinead OConnor.
Evil. Fight the real enemy.
Sinead OConnor totally shook things up on SNL when she performed War and tore up a photo of Pope John Paul II, screaming, "Fight the real enemy." It was her way of protesting the Catholic Church's child abuse scandals. Needless to say, it blew up in her face. NBC banned her, and she got booed off stage at a Bob Dylan tribute concert. Talk about a moment. In her memoir, Rememberings, Sinead revealed that the gesture was deeply personal. It symbolized the destruction of a photo her mom kept, representing the lies and abuse in her life. She even referred to those upholding those beliefs as devils like my mother. Despite the negative attention, Sinead stood by her actions, stating, "Everyone wants a pop star, see? But I'm a protest singer." She was more focused on using her music as a platform for social commentary than chasing fame. Her bold protest wasn't about seeking attention, but a political statement. Next, The Replacements. The Replacements' SNL performance? It was an absolute disaster. When they hit the stage, they were already totally wasted, and it didn't take long for things to go off the rails. From the get-go, they were dropping F-bombs, barely keeping it together, and even swapped clothes in the middle of the set. Complete chaos. The real drama? It happened even before they started playing. Guitarist Bob Stinson tripped, smashed his guitar, and the band had to grab one of SNL's backup instruments just to keep going. Total meltdown. It was so out of control that NBC straight up banned them for 30 years. Next, Ashlee Simpson. Ashlee Simpson's SNL fail is still one of the most unforgettable TV moments ever. She came in hot as the musical guest, nailing her first performance of Pieces of Me. But when it was time for her second song, total chaos. Right as she was about to perform Autobiography, the vocal track for Pieces of Me started blasting again. Yup, the cat was out of the bag. She'd been lip-syncing. Panic mode kicked in, and instead of trying to sing, she broke into this random little jig, which the internet quickly dubbed her panic dance, before walking off stage. The band kept playing, but the damage was already done. The backlash hit fast and hard. People roasted her. Late-night hosts made it a running joke, and fans were crushed. She tried to explain it away, saying acid reflux messed up her voice and she had to use a backing track. But let's be real, the internet wasn't buying it. Next, Andrew Dice Clay.
What's that? That is Nora Dunn.
Andrew Dice Clay, known for pushing buttons with his raunchy jokes, got serious backlash when he hosted SNL. His whole routine, which leaned into sexist humor, didn't sit well with a lot of people, especially SNL's Nora Dunn, who straight up refused to be part of the episode. She wasn't about it. But it didn't stop there. Sinead OConnor, who was meant to be the musical guest, dropped out too, backing up Dunn and calling out Clay's act. So, the Spanik Boys and Julie Cruz stepped in to fill the music spot. Total drama. It wasn't just the cast flipping out. Protests started popping off during Clay's opening monologue. Security had to step in and remove people who were making it clear they didn't want him there. Next, Kanye West.
He's racist. If someone inspires me and I connect with them, I don't have to believe in all they...
Kanye West's SNL performance totally went off the rails and became a moment no one could forget. After hitting the stage with his music, he went off script and launched into a crazy, unfiltered rant where he shouted out his love for Donald Trump. Wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat, Kanye boldly declared, "I love this guy," and the audience wasn't having it, booing him. But wait, it gets wilder. He dropped the bombshell that he was running for president in 2020, turning his SNL moment into an impromptu political soapbox. Everyone in the room was left completely shocked and confused, SNL cast included. Naturally, the aftermath was messy. Some people stuck up for Kanye, saying he had the right to speak his mind. Whether you love him or hate him, he definitely knows how to stir up a conversation. Next, Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
Arkansas.
Isn't it amazing that our president comes from a town called Hope, Arkansas, and here he is, bringing our country so much hope?
Good call. Imagine if Clinton came from Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Saturday Night Live landed in some serious drama after a Wayne's World sketch, where Mike Myers and Dana Carvey took a jab at Chelsea Clinton, who was just 13 at the time. They made a comment about her looks, hinting she might grow into them. And, yeah, it did not go over well. People were furious, calling it out as straight-up mean and way out of line. Mike Myers felt so bad, he wrote a personal apology to the Clintons, and even Lorne Michaels had to step up and say sorry for the whole thing. He defended Chelsea, pointing out she was just a kid who didn't ask to be in the spotlight. Sure, SNL is all about pushing boundaries, but this time they definitely crossed one. Next, Martin Lawrence.
And the lady cut it off, man. And cut it off while he was asleep. See? And he didn't even know it was gone. You know, he was asleep, just chilling, Robbie, having one of them drinks.
When Martin took the SNL stage back in the 90s, let's just say things got messy fast. His opening monologue, yeah, it went there. He cracked some seriously graphic jokes about feminine hygiene and private parts that had the audience squirming and the network panicking. NBC freaked out so much that they scrubbed the monologue from reruns, swapping it for a scrolling text explaining what went down. People weren't quiet about their outrage either. NBC got over 200 complaints, and Martin ended up on their blacklist, basically banned from SNL forever. Ouch. Years later, when asked about it on The Breakfast Club, Martin didn't back down. His take? I don't give a damn. Classic Martin, bold and unbothered. Even with all the drama, his career barely stumbled. Hits like Bad Boys and Martin kept him thriving. But that SNL episode? Yeah, it's still one of the show's most talked about moments, for all the wrong reasons. Next, Rage Against the Machine. Rage Against the Machine pulled up to SNL in the 90s, and as expected, they didn't just play their songs, they stirred the pot. During their performance, the band tried to make a statement by hanging upside-down American flags on their amps, calling out that night's host, Steve Forbes, a conservative billionaire who was running for president. But SNL wasn't having it. Stagehands yanked the flags mid-show, cutting the band's protest short. Things got even messier when Rage was told to pack their gear and leave before they could play their second song. Yup, kicked out on the spot. Guitarist Tom Morello later opened up about the drama, calling it straight-up censorship. The band felt silenced, especially since they were sharing the stage with Forbes, someone they were clearly there to call out. Next, Norm McDonald.
Now, a correction to a story we ran last week. Prince Charles is actually the one in the middle.
Norm MacDonald's run on SNL wasn't just iconic, it was straight-up legendary with a side of drama. Hired in the early 90s, he became the guy to watch, especially as the host of Weekend Update. His deadpan delivery and no-holds-barred humor earned him a cult following, but his obsession with roasting O.J. Simpson, that's what got him booted. Norm went all in on O.J. during the murder trial, cracking joke after joke about the case, the media circus, and the verdict. Fans loved it, but apparently not everyone at NBC was laughing. Turns out O.J. was tight with Don Ohlmeyer, a big-time exec at the network, who wasn't thrilled with Norm's relentless jabs. By the late 90s, Norm and writer Jim Downey were axed. NBC claimed it was because of ratings, but Norm always figured it had everything to do with his O.J. jokes, and fans ate that theory up. The firing caused a massive uproar, with Norm's supporters calling foul play and accusing NBC of killing the show's edge. Norm didn't miss a beat, though. When he came back to host SNL later, he threw major shade, joking in his monologue, "So I got fired for not being funny enough, and now I'm hosting? Make it make sense." Classic Norm. And then we have Louis C.K.
The only time somebody got offended if you said something racist in the 70s is when they would then say, like, "Hey, you interrupted me. I was saying something racist. Why did you?"
Louis C.K.'s SNL monologue in 2015 blew up fast for all the wrong reasons. The comedian, known for pushing boundaries with his dark humor, went way too far with a joke about People were horrified, with many saying it was not only inappropriate but downright dangerous, making light of abuse. At that point, Louis was a big deal in comedy, famous for being brutally honest about himself and life. But this joke had even his most die-hard fans shaking their heads. It wasn't just bad taste. It was flat-out insensitive. The whole thing didn't immediately wreck his career, but the damage was real. Fast forward to 2017, and Louis was hit with a whole new storm. Multiple women accused him of misconduct, saying he exposed himself and Emmett in front of them without consent. He admitted to it, and things spiraled. His show Louis got canceled and his films disappeared. He was basically blacklisted.